Hi everyone, welcome to the EO Wonder podcast. Today we have Adriana Usvat, who is the managing partner of FLC Group based in Dubai. Hi Adriana, how are you?
Hi, Kalika. I'm great. Thank you. I mean, good evening actually, because it's around 7 p.m. here in Dubai. Yeah.
Isn't this just so wonderful? You're in the evening and I'm in California, and as entrepreneurs, we still have lots of things in common.
Exactly. So I think that's the most amazing thing. And then adding to that, the fact that I'm actually originally Romanian is just, bringing additional things into the equation. So yeah, I think all of us have different points in common, regardless of where we are from or where do we live, right?
Yeah, so you have FLC Group is a marketing services agency that's focused on consumer engagement and experiential marketing, right?
Correct. Yeah.
But you're Romanian and now you're in Dubai. Can you please tell us, the audience who's probably really trying to understand, how did you get your start? Tell us your origin story.
Sure. So I came in the UAE and in Dubai back in 2002. I was actually discussing with my friends yesterday, and I think that there are two main reasons which are making you move in another country, especially at the beginning of the career, right? One can be a relationship, or the second thing is a job. So for me, what brought me to Dubai was a great job opportunity at the beginning of my career, and this is how I came to Dubai. And then I think I always wanted to do things differently, and I kind of felt that, possibly I have a chance to at least to attempt to do something differently. And this is why in 2008, actually in the middle of the recession, when everyone was focusing on how do they get to keep their jobs or how do they get to sustain, I decided to open a business. So figure that out, because looking back, I also think that probably there was something a little bit wrong with me, but I looked at it as an opportunity, right? Because there are lots of companies which were decreasing their marketing spends. And the first thing that you do in any company when the recession hits is you cut the marketing spend, you cut the marketing department. So there are lots of jobs to still be done, but then there was no one to do them. And that was our opportunity, and this is how we started. Initially, we started working as an outsourced marketing arm, after which we have understood a very, very important niche, because there are lots of companies at that point of time, especially in 2008, which were doing lots of on-ground promotions without actually having the know-how to develop the right strategy for a brand. And at the same time, you're having the big advertising agencies, which were developing amazing ideas. However, they are not having the strength or the know-how to implement on ground. And I think this is the gap that I and my company has managed to come in between and fill the gap between both developing a strategy and actually going there and implementing that particular strategy. And this is how I started. And then we kept on growing, and I think every 2 years we kept on developing a new division. So we grew from being an on-ground activations company to today being an integrated marketing services agency with 4 different verticals. We do lots of shopper marketing and activations, as you rightly said. We also do have an events and exhibition division, having our production in-house. Then we do lots of social, digital, and influencer management. And we have a production house, which is also a modeling agency where we do lots of production shoots, be it still or video shoots. Yeah, so this is what keeps us busy today.
So there's a lot of entrepreneurs that are listening who aren't in EO. And so you're also in EO. Which chapter are you in?
I'm in the UAE chapter.
Yeah,
so here in Dubai.
So you're in the chapter, and so there's a lot of people who are listening, because this is a global podcast, who may not know some of these things that we're talking about, right? On the ground marketing, maybe in simple terms, for someone who's a small business, what does that mean to them? Or why do people need to hire you? Why do they need to engage on the ground?
Correct. So let me give you my elevator pitch. What I do, or what I specialize in, is increasing the market share of the brands that I work with, right? The first thing is you take and you put a product in the market. After that, you want to sell it. Now, I am helping you increase the sales of your particular product. How? Through different sorts of marketing activities. One, for example, would be if you have the product on the shelves of a supermarket, I place a promoter there, I develop for you a marketing program, and I ensure that this product is being sold through promoters, through different engagement activities at the store level, through talking to the customers and explaining them why they would benefit from purchasing this product. Similarly, online, of course, what we need in order to buy this product is we need a lot of awareness about the product. I help you create more awareness about your product through different activities. It can be through influencers, which are telling you why they are using this product, or it can be through different social and digital activities that we are doing. Once you have celebrated the 1-year anniversary of this, you would want to do a small event and to celebrate with everyone that 1 year from the moment you launched this product passed. So what I do for you then, I help you organize this beautiful event where you have all the people coming, enjoying and celebrating the successes of the past years. And then to make this product look good, be it online or being on different advertising boards across the city, then obviously you would need to have a shoot so that you can have this product look even better than it already looks. And I help you with that also. So I think in a nutshell, this is a little bit about what I do for a product and for a brand.
You know what's really interesting when we look at how companies are structured, they usually put like sales and marketing together. And sales and marketing are two totally different things. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that the end result and what everyone wants, end of the day, is sales, right? It's just that there is something which is called an enabler, which is the marketing bit. And sometimes, right, to reach those sales, you need something which is called marketing to start promoting so that product has the right awareness and it starts being sold, right? So I agree with you. I think they should be collaborating and work very well together, but obviously there are two different things. And if one expects sales without actually spending some time and money on marketing, then he or she might potentially have some surprises forward.
And that is so true, because when I see the brands that we work with or new clients, and I'll say, well, what's happening? Literally 6 months, a year ago, they stopped marketing. And what's really interesting, you took this opportunity during the recession while everyone cut their marketing dollars. Like, that's the first thing where I saw the people who were really successful during COVID, just this recent pandemic, is they spent a lot more money in marketing and they were able to grab the market share. What do you think about that?
I 100% agree with you. I think that's the first reaction, because it's very, very difficult to put a finger on your ROI in marketing. You see it in time through sales. So that's the first reaction at what everyone does, just cutting the marketing budget. It's just that with time, they realize that that's one of the biggest mistakes, because without, it's like in and out. If nothing goes in, very difficult to get something going out, right? So if there is no marketing, very, very difficult to start having some results. Why we started during the recession and why we were successful is that at that time, in the year 2008, the advertising campaigns and everything which is called ATL, be it TV, be it media, having in view the fact that we have lots of nationalities here, everyone looking and seeing different kinds of TV channels and radio stations. For us, we found a concentrated medium on the ground which can talk to everyone at a less price, right? Because you didn't need to make campaigns all over all TV stations or all radios, but you're just going on ground, and at a reduced price, you're explaining your customer, which is coming in the store to purchase your product, why he should be purchasing that product. But without marketing, be it on ground and online or any other channels, obviously in time, the awareness level of the brand is going to decrease, and then the sales are going to have a ripple effect, and they are also going to start getting less and less.
So I went to an EO event a couple years ago with the founders of this company called Barefoot Wines. Do you know who they are? Mm-hmm. So they sold to a gigantic company, and this was basically this business consultant that sold a failing company, and they didn't know what to do with this brand. And so because they didn't have any money, because they had used all the money to buy the company, and in order for them to get, and this was, okay, just FYI, before Americans were drinking wine, because now everyone drinks wine.
Yeah.
What Americans were drinking was beer. Okay, so imagine that this is 80s or something like that. So when they came up with this beer, they wanted to make it accessible to the regular person. So in the store, and then, they didn't even have a really good name, right? Barefoot Winery. Okay, so what they did on the floor from the beginning of the door, they put little stickers on the floor. That's what they did. Stickers on the floor and bare feet, right? Stickers that would lead to their
Makes
brand.
sense. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This was what they did because they weren't getting any sales. They weren't getting, and then, what also that they said? They were like, why don't we have any sales? They went back, visit one of their stores and realized that the person that was, the stock clerk or whatever, that was pulling it out and having
the merchandiser.
Yes, him, these are like little grocery stores.
Yeah.
That's a fancy word. Anyway, the merchandiser could not tell the difference between they had different flavors. And because he felt dumb about it, he just kept it in the box. So not only it didn't even come out of the box, and it didn't even make it the shelves. So when he saw that, his brain, because they were desperate for sales, they changed the packaging so that the red wine was purple and the white wine was white or whatever, just something really simple. And then they made the little stickers, and their sales exploded. Isn't that interesting? And that
Obviously,
is something,
it made it visible.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's something that people hire you to do, right? I mean, like in a little story like that.
Correct. Exactly. Yeah. Right? Making the product more visible so that people actually go and purchase it.
Yeah.
The product can be there, but if we don't do anything with it, it's very difficult to generate any kind of sales.
And what's interesting with the reasons why people have to hire people like you is because sometimes when you're with your product, you're so close to it, right? You don't have the ideas. You just don't. You're just like, I just can't. And you bring out an outside person like you who becomes part of your team, but with all these fresh ideas. Is that why they hire
Obviously.
you? Yeah?
Obviously.
Yeah.
And then additionally, right, as much as you know your product and you love your product, there are so many things that you don't see just because you are too close to the product and you take lots of things personally, right? And you have your ideas how you consume it, but then there are 20,000 other customers which are completely different than you, right? And then you need someone which is completely outside your circle to kind of sit and explain and work on a strategy which fits the entire market and not only one person or a group of people.
So I feel like your model is look, see, right, with your wisdom eyes, see, and then tell the truth. This can't be, and then take it authentic action, right?
Precisely. And then there are simple ideas even on ground, right? Simple engagement ideas which can then be used to create lots of awareness online so that you can create a long-term longevity for your campaign, right? Because the other thing that we need to keep in mind, the marketing campaigns and the budgets are very limited. However, if you come up with innovative engagement ideas on ground, at any point of time, you can use them to create virality online. So then that will help create top of mind and further awareness for your brand. These are things.
Do you have any case studies or some fun stories with brands that you've activated recently or in the past?
So lots of them. We've been fortunate enough to work for quite a few brands across different segments. I think something which was very close to my heart was the Expo 2020 because it's still ongoing and it's amazing, and we got the chance to work on lots of their projects. So one of the examples of projects that we worked on was encouraging customers and people which are visiting the Expo to go and visit all the pavilions, not only the biggest ones. And what we have done is we have created across the Expo 2020 in different locations raffle boxes, encouraging customers whoever is visiting more than 60 pavilions, they get the chance to enter a competition and win different types of prizes. And then the number of people who started visiting all the pavilions, lots of them actually going and visiting 180 pavilions instead of the normal 10 to 20, it's insane. So that is something very successful, which I enjoyed. Then another campaign was the launch, for example, of Lacoste Rouge, where it was an amazing activity that started on the beach. So what we have done is we have custom-made crocodiles, Lacoste crocodiles, and we hired a team of professional swimmers. So then we had these crocodiles coming and invading the seas of Dubai. We went across different beaches. Then these professional swimmers with their crocodile on the back, they were all coming in a line around a team of 10 swimmers. And then while they reached the shore, we had hostesses who started sampling and giving vials, inviting customers to come to the official launch, which was to happen in a mall. There are lots of examples like this. I think why I enjoy my job and what I do so much is because at any point of time, you can be creative, you can be innovative, and you can come up with custom-made ideas for each and every customer. So you kind of never get bored, you know.
How do you get inspired? Do you visit a lot of places, or are you just internally creative? How do you get inspiration?
So first of all, I think I'm lucky to have a team which is very creative and loves working on the ideas. We have an entire creative and strategy department in-house. For us, for example, during COVID, I think we've stayed at home only maybe 2 months, and then after that we went back to the office because we missed the brainstorming series with the team. Do love ideas. I mean, the more innovative, the better for me, and I enjoy to sit with the team and discuss different things. Now, of course, you get inspiration even from your travels. I love traveling, from things that I see on ground, from things that I read, and I think all in all, the brainstorming sessions are helping because you always think what hasn't been done. You know, for a marketeer, what you want to do, and even for a business person, you want to innovate, you want to do things which no one has done before, right? So then I think this is what helps me, a brainstorming session with the team, or visualizing. I'm also a very visual person. And then I start imagining things in the way I would want them to go. Yeah.
Okay, so behind the scenes, you know, we're a flower on the wall watching a brainstorm session. What does it look like in a brainstorming room with your team?
Okay, so that's a very, very interesting question. And that is a very long journey. I can give you examples of how was the brainstorming sessions maybe 10 years back and how is a brainstorming session today. 10 years back, because kind of had my ideas fixated and I kind of wanted to see, and I would imagine directly the picture of how I expect this activation to be. I used to shut down lots of ideas. I used to tell my team, no, I think this will not work. No, I think this will not work. No, I think this will not work, right? And then in time also, while being a member of EO and learning different things and hearing to other people, I kind of heard that, you know, if you say, no, this will not work because you have your own idea of how things should be, you might shut down very important ideas. Maybe they are not perfect, but then if you let people build on what someone has said, then an amazing idea can come out of it, right? So now what we do is whenever I have the desire to say, no, probably this will not work, I just say, Adriana, remember, something amazing might come out. And then we allow everyone to say something, and no one is allowed to shoot down an idea. What they can do is they can build on that, right? Yes, I think that's amazing. And additionally, what we can do is this is also this. Yes, and maybe this. And then we have a person which is just writing on a board. And I think lots of amazing ideas are coming out of this because it's incredible. Maybe an idea, the initial one, probably maybe not so good. But then when people start adding up to it, you know, and just building on it, crazy things can happen, amazing things. So yeah, so it's becoming, it's been a learning curve for me also, obviously. And I think in time, we all started feeling more comfortable with each other, you know, and I always encourage the team to feel free to say everything they have in mind because this is helping, you know. So some of ideas are here, you know, in terms of, wow, this is a little bit out of the box, especially not in this budget that the client has requested to do it. But okay, let's keep it as maybe and see how we can build it or create it or adapt it to something that would actually make sense for this particular project.
Wow, the fact that you can actually have that reflection, is so astounding. One of my friends who is a former CEO of LA Business Journal, she told me that instead of brainstorming, she allows a team to go through a process called breakstorming, because, she's the one that comes up with the ideas and she gives them permission to shoot down her own ideas.
Wow, great.
Which is kind of like, when you think about it, like she encourages them to do it. What is wrong with my idea? And then they'll just let her have it. Right? Because it's true, right? People want to keep their jobs. They don't want to tell the CEO that they're wrong, right?
Yeah, very true. So I think yesterday I was listening to Adam Grant and he said something. It's actually the only note that I took, even though there were lots of takeaways from yesterday's seminar. There is one thing which for me was very important, and that was honesty is the biggest form of loyalty that you can ever have. And I think that encouraging your team to actually give a feedback, it's key, right? Especially breaking down an idea and just saying why they think it would not work. That is something which is important.
Yes. And I do believe that so yes, and so this is actually an improv, right? We're doing it right now. Yes, and I do believe that there's a difference between honesty and truth. And, right?
Obviously.
Right?
Yeah, very true, right?
Yes.
When you are honest, you can only tell your opinion, right? But then the truth can be completely different.
Can be completely different. Like, let's say, simple example, honest, I paid for that, I bought a piece of clothing. That's honest. The truth is, I spent $52 for that scarf when I have 100 scarves at home and I really didn't need it and I shouldn't have spent it. That's the difference. But anyway, we're now going into a wholly different like tangent. But oh my gosh, you have an exciting job.
Yeah, you can't really get bored.
And you're in the flow. And then you get a chance to participate in it. So how are things in Dubai right now with the pandemic, and where do you see marketing going in 2022?
So Dubai right now, it's pretty open. We do not feel yet anything related to COVID. We finally removed the mask from the streets. We can freely move. The restaurants, the bars, everything is pretty much open. So I think the country and the government has done an amazing job at making us feel quite comfortable throughout COVID. Now, in terms of marketing and where I see it going, I think COVID has helped us move very fast towards digital, and we have seen e-commerce growing a lot, even in this part of the world. Moving forward, I feel that people missed personal interaction and face-to-face interaction, and I think this is what's going to happen moving forward. Already I can see lots of events happening. Already I can see lots of activations at the store level happening. The only addition compared to what it used to be pre-COVID is the fact that each and every activation today has an online angle, has a digital arm to it, and I think end of the day the end beneficiary of this is the customer, because they can have an experience which is online as well as on ground, and at the same time is very much correlated, right? So I think customer is the end beneficiary. I see efforts on lots of seamless activities which are happening across different channels, and I see an increase in e-commerce, but to the need to go for an in-person event every once in a while, or for a store experience. And there is where I see the need for a customer, especially when it comes to the in-store experience, to kind of innovate. Because if a customer has everything that they need online, then obviously they need to have a very, very strong reason to go to the store, which means that me personally, as a marketing agency, I need to make sure that the experience is more innovative, the engagement is much better at the store level, and at any point of time we can create a wow effect so that people can come and want to spend more time with us at the store level, let's say.
So what does that look like? Like a DJ, or obviously alcohol, what does that look like, let's say, for a retail clothing store?
So it can be different things. First of all, for example, you can have a DJ booth. Then you can go into customization whereby your clothes is going to have some kind of custom-made embroidery, right? So we will have embroidery done at the store. You can have a personal stylist into the store. Then you can have different activations. For example, you can have raffle draw where you get the chance, apart from the clothes that you have gotten, to also get a nice chain as an add-on to everything that you are purchasing, or the ability to meet a famous stylist, and so on. There are so many things that we can literally do. I think most important is to think of smart, different ideas, and at the same time, the budgets need to allow us to create and innovate.
And I think there probably has to have a lot of follow-up as well too. So let's say they don't purchase at the store right there and then, like that's why you say the e-commerce also has a really important component, because once they've experienced your brand, they could be a lifelong customer. What do you think?
Obviously. So what from there, and this is why I'm saying that now the online is coming closer to the on ground, and I think it's our duty to kind of offer a seamless experience between online and on ground, and anything which today we are doing on ground can be very, very well highlighted online, and then we can also make sure that we are reminding the customer in his online journey about different things that were happening on ground. So I think a more seamless experience is what the future holds for all of us, and more ease of use for the customer is what I'm personally hoping for.
In what way? Just easy for them to purchase, easy to return? Like, what do you mean?
It's a cross, right? So it's having a beautiful experience. So, for example, ease in terms of me purchasing online, it being delivered seamlessly, the size fitting right, of me having the ability to return it faster if it's not the right fit, maybe going to the store and seeing all the items and after not collecting them from there, but having someone to deliver at home, right? So I think that technology is easy, is helping us make lots of things much easier for us. Me, for example, I also see in the future me going to a store and not needing to actually wear the clothes in order to understand how am I going to look in them, have the smart mirrors which are going to show me how I look with a certain attire. These things already started happening. So yeah, so more things like this, I think, more innovation basically is what I think is going to happen across.
And I think once you're in person, you can really help develop the oxytocin, the serotonin that happens, to help your brains feel happier. A lot of times we get serotonin, oxytocin when things are funny, humor, and also surprise. How do you use humor or surprise in your activations?
So even here, there are lots of elements that they can be done, So first of all, sometimes we even have, apart from different stylists at the store level, we can have magicians, different elements to attract and to coordinate with people, right? But then you can have magicians, you can have dancers, depending, of course, on the location. You can have photo booths where you can take a selfie with a dear one. You can have lots of nice props, right? And these are simple activations which are relatively limited in budget, but then they create that wow factor. You can have different props in the photo booths at the store level, right? Which are helping. We all, as human beings, we are social animals, and obviously we miss that interaction, and we miss having fun, and we miss engagement. So that is why the store experience is still going to be there, is still going to be interesting, and we need to keep on inventing different things to do.
I was at the Diane von Furstenberg store a couple years ago, and I remember they had this whole astrology, apparel. I think before astrology, really hit, because she's always like a leader there. And there was a tarot card reader, right in the middle, and she was all dressed up in pink, and she was much older than everyone else. And she was a former, a reader, a very famous person on television in Quebec, and she was there, and I was just like, wow, that it was so surprising, to see it.
Yeah.
But I sat down and got my cards read, and I ended up hiring her later on, because it's just so cute.
So, and there are lots of things which you can still do. You can have caricaturists at the store level. You can have, for us, henna is very popular here, so whenever we have a launch of an Arabic product, we are having henna painters at the store level so that you can kind of do that. You can have people which are engravers or people which are making bracelets, handmade bracelets. We are also doing sometimes classes of how to do small bracelets, and this usually it's for luxury brands which are wanting to give that additional element to the customer, and then you can go into making a handmade jewelry item or a bracelet or anything which is one, engaging the customer because he also needs to participate in the journey and the understanding how to do it, and second, there is a nice gift for him to take home.
Yes, and I remember this other store, I think on Rodeo Drive that I went to, they had an artist who basically took a photo, a photo of my kids. They drew the photo on the label of the bag, in leather, and then my initials. Like, it was just like, it was so valuable to me.
Yeah.
That was so valuable. I mean, it was worth attending that event.
Obviously, sometimes we can also do,
Go ahead.
sometimes we can also do, for example, an activation at the store level where you are trying to understand and to decide who is going to be the new face of a brand, right? So let's say we can have a campaign and then we can say, okay, we have done this for a kids brand. And it was very funny because, of course, and at the same time, very engaging for the moms because it was a kids brand. Everyone wanted to come with their kid, to have the kid as the face of that particular brand for 1 year. And then there are castings going on and there are kids which were trying to play different role, pose and all that. Then we inform who is going to be the winner. It was a complete campaign done both online and on ground. It's creating, again, fun, engagement, top of mind.
Yeah, because what you really want is for your audience to really participate in your brand, ultimately, right? And
Correct.
That's the best
and
type
have fun and enjoy, right? That's why we are there.
Yeah. Oh my God. What do you have any challenges when working with clients? Like, what are some challenges you face?
So in terms of challenges, I think this is a challenge of every person which is in the marketing industry. One would be timelines, because we all want things done and we want them done now. So that is, for me, challenge number one. Second would be limitations sometimes in terms of budgets, which are coming, right? Because and it's normal, it's human being. We all want to do as many things as possible with a limited budget, right? And I think the third thing which usually happens in marketing is time. Sometimes things take time in order to deliver the right results. And again, there, obviously, we need to work with clients and kind of explain them that a certain thing is going to take a certain period of time to generate results. So this for me would be the most, and I wouldn't call them challenges, I would call them learnings, things that we need to be aware of when we work with a client. And once everything now, in the events industry, the event is happening tomorrow, we all need to do it and to prepare for it. And yes, understanding that time will be needed in order to generate results.
Yes, I certainly agree. Handling the client's expectations. And also I see, trust. Sometimes when you present them an idea that's really like out of the box, it's just like, whoa, like you're confident, your team is confident, right? And then they're just like, okay, let's do it. One of my friends in my forum, he has now the #1 TikTok agency in the world. And
wow.
Yes. So he did that ELF campaign, the eyes, lip, face campaign.
Mm-hmm.
The one that all the celebrities, eyes, lip, face, like that everyone did, And it really had to do with trust. And what happened there is how he got the client was he went to this prep school called Harvard Westlake. And, this is the time when he was not getting any projects and he was doing his best to just network as much as possible. And then they said, we want to, and he met the vice president of ELF, who was also a Harvard Westlake alumni. And she said, we want to experiment with this thing called, I don't know, have you heard of it? TikTok? And at that time he didn't. This is in 2018 or something like that. And he was just like, okay, well, we'll just experiment, And the story is he literally hired like his neighbor that was living across the street in their apartment to do the music, like, because they didn't know, they just didn't know what was going to happen. And his partner, his husband, was also a dancer. And so he choreographed this dance and it just took 5 billion views on that one video. On that video, But again, it's right. Like, you have to have a client that's just willing to try something you know? Because like you were saying right now, social media has been around for 15 years, and just this year or last year, they're finally putting some really big money into digital, right? So you're thinking, it takes a long time for these big brands to embrace like the reality of what's happening. So my question to you is, where do you see short form video marketing in the future with TikTok?
I think it's going to grow, and I think it's going to grow big. I was looking even at the interactions that are happening on LinkedIn, right? I mean, initially people started writing things, then there was the blog, and now everything is getting delivered so much faster and better with videos. I think it's so much easier, and I think it's a market which is going to grow. I think everyone, in terms of across social media channels, people are looking at short videos, explaining everything simple, short, and it's easier. It's just easier, and I think people enjoy. Plus, you have that opportunity of having online a human interaction, which was all we missed during COVID, right? So I think it's a brilliant thing which will continue.
One trend I see, and I think EO is also rolling this out, is nano learning. You know, because I think that there's sometimes when I see like wanting to learn, like it's just like hours of longs of video. Like if you can tell someone what they should do in like 3 minutes, I would rather watch a 2 or 3 minute video,
Obviously,
right?
yeah.
Than like a 60-minute video. So that's where I also see where if anyone is either doing a digital course or something, like just make it short. Like you don't have to explain it in 90 minutes, this one thing, right? So it's so much better for you to also hold yourself accountable to keep your content in bite-sized, snackable pieces. Okay, now I want to talk about you.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I know we're talking about your business. So what are some of your habits as a woman entrepreneur that keeps you energetic? You have your energy just like bursts out of the screen. Like, how do you keep your energy level up? And you're also...
I swim every day.
Tell us. Tell us your morning routine.
Every day. Yeah, I swim every day. It is quite difficult. I'm an ex-ballerina. I used to dance, and then I was doing sports, be it Pilates, be it personal trainer, and slowly I started swimming, and I do that every morning. So I wake up in the morning and I just jump in the pool. I'm doing at least 25 laps prior to doing anything else. So first swimming, then playing with the dog, reading the newspapers, understanding what's the to-do list, and then going to the office. And I think, everyone has their own type of meditation. So for me, swimming is meditation, is the best way of kind of doing my job list, getting clarity in the morning and all that. This is what's helping me. I also have a gratitude book, and I'm trying to make an effort to write at least 3 things which I'm grateful for at the end of each and every day. And another nice thing which I'm doing is, I went speaking about tarot. I met a lady, which was a Japanese lady, quite a specialist in the tarot industry. And then she gave me a bunch of cards. So that time, even now, I think you can feel that I'm quite I'm a restless person, always active and all that. And she gave me some cards, and every morning I pick a card. I look at the message for the day, and then after that I continue my day keeping that in mind, So sometimes it's, what you like, what you don't like, so why don't go ahead and admit it, right? Or this kind of messages, which are my daily messages, that I have them with me continuously. Yeah.
That is wonderful. It's like your soul whispering to you, but you're also allowing it to come in. First of all,
and I understand it. I think about it. It's like, is it real? Yeah, this is right,
That is so genius. And what's genius about pool is that you cannot have your phone with you,
That's the most amazing. So I do that. I do surfing at times. I do paddle boarding. These are my favorite sports nowadays, because I can't touch the phone. Yeah.
You can't bring your phone with you, which is the best, Like, I know sometimes I'm in the Peloton, I'm just like, I'm just like, I have to put it in another room. It is so tempting to just in between, you're getting your
I'll give you a secret, in an attempt to get the team also to be more zen and more calm, more relaxed at work, we have done yoga sessions in the office. Now, I'm the type of person which during the yoga session, in whatever position, I will take the phone and understand who and what wrote me a message and what's that message all about. So now with the swimming, I have that possibility anymore. So meditation without wanting it, simple. This is how it works.
And so how long does it take you to swim 25 laps?
So roughly around 20-25 minutes.
So and then you put in a cap and everything. Like, did you actually train to swim, like, or, like take a class to swim properly, or you already knew how to swim properly?
I used to do it as a kid. So I used to do it as a kid. I gave up swimming probably when I was around 14 years old. So I still know how to swim, but I didn't do it regularly. And now I think over the last 2 years I've started, and I'm just doing it every day. There is no break.
And no injuries. Really? No injuries.
No. It's the best way of keeping fit. It's actually the best way because all parts of the body are working.
Yes, absolutely. Have you watched that Netflix movie, Tick, Tick, Boom? The founder of the play who, Rent, there was that famous Broadway show, Rent, and he's the owner. And so he was a swimmer. So the majority of the movie was him swimming back and forth, right? The creativity, and you could just see as he's swimming back and forth, he's composing music, and it's coming from the pool. I'm sure that's what's happening with you, right? When you're calm, all the creative ideas just bloom.
Yeah.
So exciting.
You are in the flow. And I think for different people it's different. This is my way of keeping and putting myself in the flow, so everyone needs to find their way of what would be that ideal for you to start on a positive note.
Yeah. What type of advice would you give to an aspiring female entrepreneur?
So there are few. First, listen to understand, not to follow. I think this is very important because lots of times we hear other voices and we move away from our destined road in an attempt to, just because we think that some advices probably are better. So that would be listen to understand, not to follow. The second one is believe in yourself and your idea. And I think the third most important, look and find a group of like-minded people which can understand and support you, because that is very important.
That's EO.
Yeah, precisely. I found EO relatively late in my journey. I think I was in business for over 10 years, and then I found EO, or EO found me.
Yeah.
And it literally changed my life from a perspective that it helped me grow so much personally, and understanding, that other people also have the same challenges that I had, right? You also, yes, okay, it happens. Okay, so I'm not the weird one out there, so that's amazing.
Yeah, we feel normal in our group.
Precisely. We are normal.
We're normal in the group of crazies who just do this. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. You have contributed so much to this, to me and the podcast. It was just so nice to be with you. I know that we're on the EO Global Communications Subcommittee, and we're sort of like passing through the night, but I really enjoyed our conversation. There goes my dog. And
I also have one. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate that.
It was so wonderful. Yeah. And then I hope to have you back on, maybe as things open up or things are changing, let's definitely keep in touch.
For sure we will.
Okay. Thank you so much, Adriana.
Thank you so much for your time.
Wait a second. How can people contact you?
So they can contact me. I think the easiest would be my email, right? Which is adriana@flc-me.com. Or they can find me on LinkedIn. My name is Adriana and then USVAT. I think this would be the easiest options. And I would be happy to talk.
And what kind of clients are you looking for?
In terms of clients, we usually work with, for example, FMCG companies. We work with clients in the luxury segment, fashion industry. We work with clients in the electronics segment, and we do work with lots of automobiles companies.
Yeah, some of your clients include Estee Lauder, Samsung, P&G, Nestle. So some really good Fortune 100, Fortune 50 brands. So anyone who's listening, if you guys have have any need, please contact Adriana. She's the best.
More than happy to assist.
Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.